Well, today is National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day, and joining us from the Children's Service Center is psychologist Dr. Greg Michael and Director of Development Liz Hibbard. Thanks, guys, so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I want to start out, what is National Children's Mental Health Awareness Day, and why is it so important?
Well, the National Mental Health Awareness Day is to exactly what it says, bring awareness to the significance and widespread nature of mental health problems with children. Some of the statistics that we have say that about 1 out of every 5 kids deals with some kind of mental health issue at some point in time during their childhood, and between 5 and 8% of children will have one that really negatively affects one of the domains of their life, like school or family, friends, something like that.
And you said this year, every year there's a theme, and this year the theme is trauma. Talk a little bit about how trauma can affect a child.
Yes, one of the things that was, I thought, kind of fitting for our area was the recent flooding that took place. We have seen some children come through that have been uprooted. They had to move, they lost possessions, went to different schools, had to make new friends, things like that. And it could be very difficult for a child to adjust to that. And when we think about trauma-related symptoms, a lot of times we think more in the terms of adults. And a lot of times those symptoms present differently with children. They're more behavioral symptoms. Younger children aren't able to verbalize kind of senses of nervousness and anxiety. It's more acting out behaviors a lot of the times.
And as far as the primary issues that people or that children and families are facing today, what would you say they are?
Oh, there's a number of things. Financial issues is certainly one. Access to services is one that we try to lessen in our role at the Children's Service Center. Educational needs, things like that. There's a number of other things that could affect, children's mental health on a widespread basis. Family issues, lots of things like that.
And if a family or a parent is noticing that their child might be acting differently, doing things that they're not used to doing, and they're starting to be concerned for their mental well-being, what should they look for? What are maybe some major triggers, and when should they seek help?
A lot of signs will revolve around their behavior in school. Are their grades decreasing? Have their motivation or interest in school lessened? Are they trying to skip school or avoid going to school? Also issues with their friends. Have they changed their peer group drastically, not hanging out with friends that they used to spend a lot of time with, arguing a lot with friends when they don't usually do that? Other things that could be signs could be medical complaints, physical complaints like headaches, stomach aches, chest pains that have been checked out by a physician and don't really have a medical explanation. And other things, like I mentioned before, would be more acting out behaviors. Temper tantrums and outbursts in younger kids, irritability, and maybe some rebelliousness in older kids and adolescents, again, might be the outward expression of some underlying distress.
And Liz, tell us how the Children's Service Center helps children with mental illness. And I have to imagine it's all degrees of mental illness, correct?
Right. Well, I have to get the plug in about it being our 150th anniversary. We've been around since 1862, and for most of those 150 years, Children's Service Center has been dealing with children and adolescents who have mental, emotional, and behavioral problems. And I will say that most mental health issues present themselves as behavioral problems, as Greg said, and parents who notice that their kids are acting strangely or just acting differently, we can be a resource for them. We have an office on South Franklin Street in Wilkes-Barre and also in Tunkhannock, where we provide services. We actually see about more than 4,000 kids, children and adolescents on an annual basis, and children as young as 18 months old to up to age 18. We can even see young people up to age 21 if they're still in school. So we have an outpatient program, we have community-based services, we have home-based services. So we really do as much as possible to make sure that the family as a whole is treated, because kids don't live in a vacuum. Their problems don't just pop up without there being usually some relationship to a family situation.
And if people want to get a hold of you, tell us the number to call.
We are at 570-825-6425, and someone in our reception department would be happy to help anyone who calls.
Thank you, Liz Hibbard. Thank you so much, Dr. Greg Michael. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.